shoes last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Austin.
Oi, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Judgment, Austin.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a-running.
Sorry for what?
But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love him when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Okay, guys, sorry about that. I was trying to figure that out. Thank you all for being here. This is Lady Freedom coming at you with another raw narrative. And I was uploading something in the back there, and I apologize. I went to go click. Oh, it's still loading. Okay, I went to go click on it, and it wouldn't let me click on the next video, so I guess it's because it was uploading. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. So we have some bad news, which we went over in an earlier live, but I wanted to come back up anyway. And I see a lot of people here already. Town Chat Cafe, good to see you. Meow. WV Holla Girl, good to see you. And Churchy, good to see you. I also see Nancy Fleming, and who else did I write down here? Spicy Disaster, and also Shadow. Good to see you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Again, just kind of a sad day, a really, really busy day. I wasn't expecting to come on and speak about this today. I was hoping, hey, Robbie, good to see you, and Brock and Ava too. I was really hoping we would have gotten a more positive outcome on this case, but it seems to me that it might just get worse before it gets better. And I really don't know what to say about that besides I hope that I'm wrong. There was a presser tonight, and it was very short. I was going to bring it in, but then, they really didn't give any extra information. And they basically just said, hey, look, we will put out more as we know more, but right now they're still investigating. I was over on Justin's live. He had a really great live tonight where he showed different pictures as they were coming in of kind of like breaking news as it was coming in. So it was really fun over there and really informative as usual, as per usual with Justin. So watching the press conference, they were just happy that they found him, really. And then also during that press conference, it was alleged that, or somebody sent it into Justin, excuse me, I want to make sure I say it right, that they also have Joshua in custody. Hey, Babs, and that they are questioning him as well. So, really quick for those who are familiar with kind of who Joshua is, Joshua Gross is married to Jaden's mother, Felicia Gross, who's in Orange. And then you have the aunts. The one closest to Felicia is Shy. And then you have Samantha. And then you have the grandmother who was taking care of Jaden, but she passed away recently. And so in that case, Jaden went to the aunt right next to her in the blue Kentucky shirt, or blue lettering, gray shirt, blue lettering, Kentucky. Went to Samantha, the aunt. It's been alleged that she took out a GoFundMe for, quote, a reward. But I don't believe her. I don't believe her at all. They're acting really, really strange, guys. And of course, this is allegedly, in my opinion, but no emotion, just, hand out and pray for me, hand out and pray for me. Don't worry about what happened to Jaden. Hand out and pray for me. And I'm not okay with that. I'm so sick of this stuff. I try to give the benefit of the doubt. And it bites me in the arse every time. So, but these are the characters in Jaden's story, and from what I can tell, out of all the adults up here, there's 5 of them. His grandma seems to be the only one who wanted to take proper care of Jaden, who cared about him. And once she passed away, it was like he was in the hands of these 4 monsters up here, in my opinion, allegedly. That's what it's looking like to me. So they have Josh in custody right now. Josh Gross, that's his actual last name, stepfather to Jayden Spicer. His mother has allegedly confessed to taking his life. Now, at this point, she's saying that she gave him an overdose of sleeping medications, but I really don't believe that either. And it could come out and they could say, you know what? Yes, that is what happened. Hey, Lori. And that is what happened, and I'll stand corrected. But at this point, there's just been some really, really weird things going on in the case. Hate seclusion works in terms of people not telling the truth. And whenever somebody doesn't tell the truth, they like kind of lose me a little bit, right? Because I understand we all lie. I understand we all have that self-preservation in us, right? We all we're hardwired for survival. All of us are. Every single one of us, or we wouldn't be here today. And I mean, I truly believe that. And it's been scientifically proven too. So I do believe that whenever we're scared or we don't know what to do, that kind of kicks in, and it's an instinct. We really can't help it. But and we've also watched it happen in other interviews when it comes to an interrogation style interview. So, you can see the self-preservation kick in, but then reality kicks in because they might see a picture of, the crime scene or whatever as an example, and then they start being back to reality, understanding, they're really here for a reason. Hey, Kai, good to see you. Such a sad day. It's such a sad day. Hey, Kiki, good to see you. I'm just glad that, we were all together for it, because there's really nothing good about it, and I mean, I understand, and I do feel comfort in the fact that Jaden is, with the Lord our God. I do believe that, right? But it still doesn't make me feel any better about this. I don't know. It just kind of I still have the icks because of this. It's something isn't right, and he is just a sweet kid. We don't really know much about him, right? Justin shared a couple of new pictures. Hey, show poodles, of Easter time. And it looked like he was having a good time. Hey, Brenda Calvert, good to see you. Yeah, it's like an emptiness, Kiki. I agree. It's like, it's so sad. It's like, you know, again, it's good that he's found. And, I think it's so, what really upsets me, I think the most, and kind of like irks me, is that we've gotten so used to negative outcomes when it comes to missing children that we would rather take a child that has passed away and that we found him than anything. We like, it's like a consolation prize, and it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way, you know and exactly, Brenda Caesar says, very sad, but I'm glad that we found him. And I am too, and then it's like we have to be grateful, right? We have to be grateful for what we're given. But boy, it just really is, it's upsetting. It's really upsetting, because we're like, well, at least he's still here, hey, blessed. um yeah, the only good thing Bab says is that Jaden's away from the monsters, and we don't know what he went through, and he's with the Lord now, safe and sound. Yeah, exactly. And as I throw my pen on the floor, um yeah, I mean, because we don't want to sit here and be, grumpy and gripe about it, right? I mean, I felt like maybe I might have had some misplaced anger earlier, until I watched one of the interviews with the ants again, and they're like laughing. They might as well have been interviewed for winning the lottery or something. I mean, it's weird. I was watching some interesting videos, um, actually preparing for earlier's live when I went on earlier. And people do laugh at inappropriate times. And it's one of those things where once you start laughing, you almost can't stop, because it's so ridiculous that you're laughing, and things like that. And so I was kind of studying some of that behavior, because I understand, sometimes we all have odd behaviors. I mean, it just happens. But in this case, I don't know. I just see these ants, and then, like, you know, not pray for justice for Jaden. I never saw justice for Jaden, not one time. I also don't like it when they come out and they blame these kids. We talked about that earlier too. It's not their fault. They're kids. They're learning. Were you a perfect kid? I really would like to ask the ant that. Were you perfect when you were a kid? You knew everything that you were supposed to do, right? And you did it perfectly well. And you were never hyper, and you never ate too much sugar, or you never were so excited about something, that you couldn't control your emotions. Never, right? Because you're perfect and Jaden's not. No way. No, there's something wrong with those two broads. I mean, yeah, at least he's found, right, meow. And like, excuse me, that's what's really, really tough too. Because like when I look at this case, or I look at the case in Ohio of little James Hutchinson, we were talking about him earlier too. The police at least did their job in fully investigating every option. Now, some of this coming out in the investigation remains to be seen, but I'm here to be a cheerleader for whoever's going to help the kids out, right? Because I understand that, law enforcement, maybe they aren't perfect, but they certainly didn't take these kids out of their home and do anything to them. They're doing their best. When they're doing their best, they're doing their best. And when they're not doing their best, I'm going to have something to say about it too. And I agree with you, Meow. It's so tough, because we look at these cases and we're thinking to ourselves, how come that can't be Sebastian? How come Chris and Katie are able to get away with the 9 p.m. going to bed story and never seen him again? Because kids don't vanish. Sebastian didn't vanish. They are still saying that Jaden vanished. He didn't vanish. His mother knew where he was the whole fucking time. Sorry. If I hear it one more time, I'm going to, I'm going to have a cow. Yeah, I wish these other moms would confess. Good to see you, Kelly. I mean, that's how I feel too. But the thing is it takes really great investigative work. It takes the police officers to ask questions, and not just ask one question one time. You ask the same question a different way to see what kind of answer you get. That's how you do it. You leverage the information that you have, even if it's only a little bit of information. You have to realize there's a psychology behind someone who is guilty. They're paranoid. They think that you know something that you don't know. You're literally asking them because you have no friggin' idea. And they're wondering, well, why would you ask that? That's where they get defensive. That's where as an investigator or a detective, your spidey senses should be going up. Okay, allegedly, in my opinion. I'm not a detective. But I mean, when we look at these things, it's like we really have to say, did you fully investigate a situation? You know, like, sure, a child can walk off in the middle of the night, but if there's no evidence of that happening, then you have to go to the next step, right? You don't just stick there and just dig your heels in and say, nope, I'm not talking to anybody and I'm not doing anything. And, you know, YouTube doesn't help. I mean, like Eric Craddock, for instance. Yes, I'm talking about you again, sir. I'm talking about your bogus investigation, or even lack of an investigation, in my opinion. You literally thought that kid took off from day one because you listened to his parents. You had no evidence that this ever happened, but you continuously stayed in that scenario and didn't check anything else out. Because if you did, then there would have been something happening in this case by now. We would have found Sebastian by now. Someone knows where he is, and it's not him. He's not the only one, I should say. Either he's out there somewhere, something bad happened. Those are the only two options right now. The only two options. Oh, they're bad babs. I mean, the first things they say about Jayden is that he's hyper. It's like, okay, well, what little boy isn't rambunctious and hyper? Like, do we want our children to sit there like a zombie? Do we want it so they never talk? So they never ask us questions? So they never, you know, I mean, gosh, I remember my daughter was in a stage, I think she was probably like 2 or 3. And it was, but why, mama? But why? You know, and I'm like, well, because, you know, and I mean, this was before I could just pick up my phone and Google it, you know, and so I'm like trying to come up with a good answer, and I'm like, oh gosh, I hope I don't teach her the wrong thing. And then, you know, and then you tell her something, okay, but why is that? And it's like, oh gosh, you know, Livy, please. And, you know, but I mean, but that's not a bad thing. It's not like I was like, you're grounded for talking to me, you know, but that's how these parents are. Like, they don't even want the kids around. Like, you know, you're just bugging me, kid, get out of here. You know, I mean, every parent feels overwhelmed, like, you know, and wants a minute to themselves, a hot bubble bath, you know, whatever, time at the gym, time to sit and read a book, whatever it is. But I mean, it's like they don't want to deal with the kids at all. Go in your room, watch videos, play the video game. Really, I don't give a shit what you do as long as you're not bugging me, you know. And then if they do want to get out and do anything, you know, it's sedate them. And that doesn't help anything, by the way. Thanks, Blast. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm so over this, you know. I try to give the benefit of the doubt. I do. Yeah, and that's the thing. I do think, Babs, that LE did a good job, right? Because obviously we know where Jayden is. And so, you know, not to put any more pressure on them for the time being, I'm like, good job. You know, at least we know where the kid is. Because it's so sad when we don't. Like, that's the thing that'll drive us most crazy. And when you're looking back in these woods and in these hollers, like when Justin was showing it, and I'll put something better together for you guys tomorrow. I have a couple of pictures and stuff, but nothing as good as being able to like kind of see the lay of the area and different things like that. A lot of these spots are kind of back roads as it is, and then you're like in woods and holler, like, you know, thick, dense summer woods, you know, where all of the leaves are on the trees, all the branches are full, all of that. Sorry, guys, I think I talked too much today. Imagine that with me. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I have to give them credit at some point. Now there was some weird clothes found. I still don't know everything about the clothes. I went and subbed up to this channel, right? Because they had, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Hatfield McCoy like story. I don't think these people are those people. I think it's just their YouTube name, but correct me if I'm wrong. Um, it's something uh, back in the day where it was kind of like two neighbors that would always like, bicker back and forth with each other, Hatfields, McCoys, and they're always at each other. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But my understanding, it's a couple and it's a retired officer of the law, and they kind of go around and, investigate crimes and such, and locally. Hey, Laura Arnold. Oh, I'm so sorry you had a migraine. Yeah, so today they found Jayden Spicer, and they found him in a rural area um, of the county near where his grandmother was buried. And give me 1 second here. Let me see if I can't. Yeah, there it is. I tried to crop him in before. Okay, thanks, Kiki. Kiki says the older gentleman is kin to the Hatfields and McCoys. Okay, because I was like, I don't know where the original people are from, but I've heard the story. Thank you. And there's Justin. He's the one that pulled this up for us, guys. So credit to Clutch and Pearls for this. So right here is Hall Branch Road, right? And he was found in this area, and that's the same area where his grandmother is also buried. Now, it's my understanding that a lot of these folks are like, a lot of these folks have property and then they have private cemeteries on them. So I'm still not 100% with all of that. And, feel free to correct me in the chat too. Should have helped. This should have happened in the Summer Wells case as well. I agree. It's any of these cases. I mean, I know they brought Candace in, but I think she shut down on them, and I think they didn't put enough heat. I really believe that with Candace, because I still don't see how they weren't able to crack her and Dawn. I mean, especially if you put, look, if you take the, drugs away from the attic and you put them in a cell, that's a good time to start questioning them. Again, it's using what you have against them as leverage, So if you have two crackheads and, they want to get back on to smoking their crack, they might tell you the truth. They might roll on each other just to, so one of them doesn't, get in trouble, in my opinion. So I mean, you could at least take the chance or the risk. I guess you could look at it either way and say, okay, let's bring them in for questioning, because if you're sitting in the cell all night, you're ready to get out, even if you don't have a drug problem. Kiki says, in my opinion, this case, the YouTuber searching put the heat on. I think so too. That's great, Kiki. Again, thank you. Because, I mean, we were talking about that earlier today, too, that maybe these Hatfields and McCoys were going out there in their area and they were nervous. Because I guess one of them talked to Josh Gross, which is the stepdad to Jayden. And, there was some mysterious clothing found across the street. And I agree with you, Kiki. I think that quite possibly could have been some of the clothes that were given for the school year, because I'm guessing they weren't just going to give them clothes for like, the first couple of weeks of school. I'm guessing it was kind of probably like donations, and so they just distributed it amongst the kids, because there was a pair of like, boys underwear, right, in a plastic bag, and they were located across the street from the residence where Jayden was living. So very odd. And then Hatfield and McCoy gentleman, he goes up, I'm not sure what his name is. He went up and he picked him up, but he wasn't wearing gloves. So of course everybody in the chat was like, "Oh no, don't be doing that," And I thought that was good because we kind of know that you don't want to contaminate any evidence. Hey, Sammy G. They felt the good Lord in them. That's right. That's right. Well, and that's what it takes. I mean, gosh, my hats go off to people that are not afraid to, like I said, go to someone's house, knock on their door and, hey there, whatever, because, it's not easy to do. And it is risky. I mean, you could be encountering someone who's, completely off their rocker and the minute you set foot on their land, they're like, ready to shoot. And, hey, Shelly, good to see you. All boys are hyper, Kiki. Well, one thing that one of our friends, Soldier Girl, had said in the chat too, I noticed, she said, if you have a hyper child, which she said she did have, her young guy was a, hyper guy. And she said, you just find ways of showing them how to calm themselves down and regulate that. And, and I also said sports are a really good outlet too, or like getting them involved in things because they're going to tire out at some point. And that's not always going to work for everybody, but it's a good outlet, at least to release some of it, or even like having outdoor activities with them, having them go outside and run around for a little bit, a basketball hoop or anything, Swimming is a good one too, but it's a summertime thing in most places. Nancy Fleming says that 1 second of anger can cause a life to end. So sad. One thing for sure, Hayden is running and playing with the angel. Oh, Jaden is running and playing with the angels. Yeah. I agree with that, Nancy. And I think that sometimes that's all it takes. Like she's saying that she gave him too much sleeping medication, but it's never been indicated that he was taking anything for sleeping. And also, I've never heard of ODing on sleeping medication before. Now, is it her sleeping medication? Because I'll tell you, I used to take a pretty powerful one called trazodone. And I used to have to actually cut them in half because they were so strong for me. And then when I'd wake up in the morning, I was super groggy. I felt like, crap. And so I wonder if it was her sleeping medications that weren't necessarily only for sleeping, because it's just weird, It's just, and it's infuriating. It's infuriating because this poor kid, I mean, he really didn't have much of a chance, it seems, in my opinion, just the way that he was treated and the way that people, it's almost like, I don't know, it's weird. I don't want to say exactly how I feel. Yeah, and the video they were saying, yeah, Kiki says, watch that video, and the boyfriend says those are Jaden's clothes. And he said that the police left them there. I saw that in the chat too. And I'm going, why would the police leave them there? You know what I mean? Like, that's weird. There's no reason for that. That is really strange. Really, really strange. Robbini says, my great aunt was a McCoy. See, I was wondering if you guys had ever heard that story before. And I know I had, I think it was on the Tiger King is when I heard that story about, how they were at each other, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, see the man. Yeah, that man is kin to them. Yes, that's cool. Yeah, I was wondering because I was like, I've heard that story, and they seem like a really cute little couple out there just trying to figure things out, Oh, yes. Okay, Kai says they found a killer in the woods a few years ago. See, that's really neat, I mean, especially when you know those woods. And see, that's what brought me back to something that Bullhorn Betty had said a while back about Sebastian and about Chris and Katie, and maybe not even particularly Katie, because I know she kind of grew up in Virginia and in that area. But Chris knowing those woods and knowing those hollers and knowing certain places that maybe only he and his friends would go to, or maybe there was a girlfriend that him and his girlfriend would go places. Like, when you live in the country, you ride the backwoods, or the back roads, excuse me. So it's just the way it goes. Like, that's what you do. And you know them well, and a lot of those guys, like, they like to go out there in the woods and hunt, and they know them. Nancy, she says, baby, say it louder for the ones in the back. Aw, thanks, Nancy. Hey, Holly S., good to see you. Ann Brock says, there are some stupid people in the world nowadays, in my opinion. Well, yeah, and they get upset with us. They'll say, well, how come you're jumping to conclusions? It's like, I'm not. It's just basically what we're being told, and what we're being told is not making sense. And then the actions are speaking way louder than any of the words, when we barely get any words. But then the actions are speaking so much louder. And I also think, Kiki, too, when it comes to public pressure, I heard that McDonald's is her favorite place to go, this mom. Oh, and I have her mugshot here too. Let me see. And it, I mean, look what the cat drug in, So at least she's not smiling, but the ants were. And I hear her boyfriend, or excuse me, her husband is there as well. Sorry, guys, I got behind in chat here. Oh, Lori, you've had a migraine for 2 days now? Oh, my goodness. Migraines are the worst, too, because of light sensitivity. Yeah, and there's a graveyard on the Bowersox property as well. Yeah, Nancy, and that's what's so worrisome. I mean, because they know places that nobody else would know about, and that's what we saw today in this area. It's so heavily wooded, and then if you didn't know it, you could pass by a little tiny cemetery and not even notice it, because it's far back up off the beaten path. And in my opinion, she would have had to have had help. They live in a tiny little trailer, right? There was allegedly 6 people. There was 3 boys that she already had. Then Jayden came, so there was 4 boys, and then the 2 parents, so Felicia and Joshua Gross. And you mean to tell me that she did all that on her own? I don't think so. I do not think so. And I think that's an abscess on her face, guys. I'm not sure, or on her jawline. You can kind of see it's bulging out there. I'm hoping that it's not a DV situation that occurred, but it's kind of hard to tell. It's actually really hard to tell from this kind of angle. We'd have to probably maybe do a closer up view, but it's been alleged that there was abuse present, like child abuse, domestic violence, the whole 9. Thank you, Kiki. Yeah, and Justin did a great job. He was kind of walking us through the area, and it's in very close proximity to where Jaden's grandma lived, and then Samantha and the girls live. So, and I, again, I'm not trying to make friends with any of these people. So, what's going on with the girls? Because now we have 5 children who don't have adults to take care of them. And I don't think the aunt should have the 2 girls. What if she decides that she doesn't want the girls and she just gives them away to somebody and they get hurt? That lady is not equipped. I'm thinking the stepdad might have helped Lori. And, that's one thing that came in breaking to Justin was that it's been alleged that he is at the sheriff's department being questioned, and that he's not sure if they're going to let him go home or not, or if he's going to be charged. Look, I really think that in that small knit of a situation, with him having that much control over Felicia allegedly, I honestly think that they were in it together, or he would have rolled on her the minute that the kid wasn't around and, you know, the heat was on. Right. So as soon as they figured out Jayden wasn't around, he would have, you know, if he didn't have guilty knowledge or involvement. And Brenda says probably don't want all that heart in the area, so locals may be pressuring them too, or excuse me, heat in the area. But yeah, exactly, Brenda. So the locals have been pressuring. So when she went to McDonald's, that's what I was gonna say. They gave her hell at McDonald's, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And you know, she ended up going down to Wendy's to grab something to eat, which I don't blame her there. But something made her crack, you know. Yeah, they were in a bag like donations, Holly. The clothes were. And they were all clean, you know, they weren't worn or anything like that. Didn't look like they were used at all, really, except for maybe the croc. Now there was a black croc, and there were pictures. Excuse me, let's see. Grab this picture of Jayden in these rainbow Crocs, which his mom said he was wearing. But then they found one black Croc. And I'm like, well, were they the same size as his? Because, I mean, he's a pretty tall kid for 10 years old. He's, excuse me, he's already 5'5". I'm 5'6". So I'm thinking he's almost as tall as me. That's my frame of reference. But those I can see are definitely, you know, rainbow kind of Crocs with different colors on them, or tie-dye. But that was Jayden on Easter. And he looks like he's having, you know, a grand time. Looks really, really happy, big old smile. And then this one, he doesn't look as happy, you know, and he looks thinner, in my opinion. I mean, he wasn't like chubby by any means or anything like that, but he just looks a little bit more filled out and a little bit healthier, in my opinion. Definitely happier, in my opinion, you know. I feel so bad for him. Hey, couponing, good to see you. Please, CPS, don't fail other children in this household. Oh my gosh. You know, Chuchi, that's the problem. I'm so worried about that because nobody said anything about the other kids at all. The press conference, basically, they were just like, you know, they're confirming that they did find him. And then they said that he's in good hands. They're going to be taking care of him. You know, it wasn't a very big update. It was really just confirming what the rumors were, you know, which is tough because obviously we always want to get the confirmation, but the rumors were true this time. Hey, Pamela Roberts, good to see you. Oh, I'm sorry, Laura. I hope you feel better soon, hon. I'll be on tomorrow afternoon again. I'm telling you, this 2-show thing did kick my ass today, though. I'll tell you that much. McDonald's is expensive. Seclusion works. Where did we go? We went to, like, I think it was Dairy Queen or something. And it was like, I don't even know what we got. I think it was just like a burger or something. It was expensive. Okay, 2 coats. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. So we got 2 coats. Thanks, Kiki. Boots, a croc, a shirt, an underwear in a bag, and 2 pairs of shorts. See, that sounds like something that would be kind of given like in a donation style too, I think, Kiki. I mean, it sounds like, oh, no worries, Maman. I invited Maman to come up tonight because we've been working this case, and you know, it's just unfortunate. No, I didn't see the TikToks that she did 10 years ago couponing. I'll have to look at that. Did she look more presentable, or I'm so bad with TikTok. I got to get on to TikTok more often, but um I'm battling storage all the time. He is so cute, Lori, and just so sweet. You know, you could just tell he was, I just don't know. I just don't look at kids like that either. I don't look at them like, scram, get out of here, I just don't. I like kids. I always have. I've always thought all the kids were always welcome. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? It's Seclusion says, I went to pick up a Big Mac and gave up when I saw the prices, went to Firehouse Subs. And Firehouse Subs probably better anyway. It's gotten crazy expensive. Sometimes I do like to have a Big Mac though. Um, I'm not a huge fan of McDonald's just because I lived in an area where like that's all there was for a while, and it was like, gross after a while because that was the only thing, that you could get other than. Yeah, it's so terrible, right, Holly S? When you can see it, when you can see the decline, these pictures when the kids decline are heart wrenching. Yeah, it's so sad. It is absolutely so sad, and it's undeniable. And it's like, well, why would you say that about somebody? Well, because you can just see it. You could just see it, and you feel sorry for the kids, And it's like, if we don't point it out, then who will? And then that kid went through that without anybody even giving a crap, you know? We can't have that. I'm just glad that you guys have caring hearts and, you want to hear about these things. Yeah, like sounds like free clothes from agencies. Yeah, or like, sometimes the church will do like a coat drive. In Missouri, they used to do it every year at one of the local news stations. They would have everybody donate coats and things like that. So it just breaks my heart though too. And I don't mean to shame any parents out there because, when you need help, it should be there, and people should never feel bad about taking the help. Ever, never, ever. Please don't take it like this. But it does break my heart, like that they have to give kids underwear. Like, God. Brenda says those dark circles remind me of the pictures of Kaylee Anthony, and it was presumed Casey was giving her Z's. Yeah, Zanny the nanny, right? So she would sleep while she went out and partied, and again, it just makes you wonder about like how these parents are with the kids. Like, are they drugging them to get them to go to sleep so that they can do whatever they want to do and they don't have to worry about the kids and they're zonked out for more than they should be, Oh, couponing. Yeah, give me a second. Let me give you a wrench. Hold on a second. I thought you had a wrench before couponing. I hope I didn't block you. Sometimes I'm so bad with that. Detroit knows. And poor Trishy, I blocked Trishy the one time. Thing. No, I'm not going to update. I don't need to update now. They're always giving me the... Oh, I don't want to find anybody unexpected. Okay. There's couponing. Okay, couponing, you should be able to drop a link. Woohoo! I'm glad I learned how to do it. I'm glad I learned how to do it. Okay, so let's see. Yes. Oh gosh, I know that feeling, seclusion. Hey, Mamin. Yes, one post is hard. I'm not getting notifications for some reason. Yeah, and see, like that's why, and I made my live at the last minute tonight because I wanted to finish out watching Justin, too, because I was waiting on. He has the chicken party, and he did the chicken party at the end, and I needed that chicken party today. So, Thank you, Kiki. And I missed Justin earlier because I was on. I didn't even know what was going on. If it wasn't for Kiki and her sending me the one clip, or I mean well, it was this one. I still have it in here. Let's see. Now this is kind of when it broke, but not when the police had said anything. But this is, it says sad update on Jayden Spicer today. Apparently his mother, Felicia Gross, has confessed to murdering him and burying him where the grandmother was buried. Came across the scanner as in custody, taking them to the body now. So Felicia was allegedly in custody, and she took them to where she knew Jayden was, because only she knew where he was, and that's her mugshot of Rooney. And then this is the area he was found. So incredibly sad. And then, like I said, I kind of watched a couple of the, there you go, couponing, you look smashing in blue. Yeah, so the trooper said, oh, I like Culver's, Lori. Pamela says, Pamela says, just got back from the cancer treatment. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I hope you're all right, Miss Pamela. Was POS confess on her own, or what? Or she was arrested? So they did. I'm guessing they did arrest her. I'm not sure if she confessed prior to, or or if she was like, hey, I'm going to turn myself in. I can bring you to where we, or if they had her in for questioning and it just kind of came out. Because they were searching the area, and then when they didn't find him, they ended up scaling back, which I'll be honest, when that happened in Sebastian Rogers' case, I was really thinking, okay, here we go. They're going to catch, they're going to get these parents because they didn't find him anywhere around the area. So now they're going to bring them in and really put their feet to the fire and, hold their feet to the fire rather. Yes, Kai says the trooper in charge of the case has stated that Joshua Gross has not been charged at this time. It was also said that the other children are safe, and all this reported a few minutes ago. Oh, thank you, Timothy Hudson. Thank you so much. So, okay, great update. Thank you. So Josh is not being charged at the time, and the other children are safe. I wonder where the other children are. Now, one thing I want to consider is Josh has money. It's been alleged that his folks have money. And I wonder if that's why they're able to keep the kids. That's terrible, right? Purely speculation. I mean, that was a great example of purely speculative talk. Yeah, absolutely. Seclusion. See, that's the thing. Like, it's there for the people that need it when we need it, right? And nobody should ever feel bad about taking something like that when you need it. It's the people that are so grifty about it and like, oh, they're horrible. They're horrible about it. But yeah, she did confess. And, I'm not sure exactly how it went down. I would love to see that interrogation video, or maybe they didn't even need to do it. It could have been kind of just getting down to the wire, and maybe they, went over to the house to give her an update and said, look, we know that something's not right here, and then the dominoes started to fall. Oh, Kiki, it was a good chicken party. There was a couple parts in there I hadn't seen. There was one with the mama monkey. It was hilarious. It was so funny. It was funny. Justin's chicken parties, and then he did the rap song. That was hilarious. Yeah. See, that's another thing. Seclusion. Seclusion Work says, when I fled from DV, I took most of my clothes but forgot my jacket. And those people at United Way were so kind, gave me a warm coat and gloves and these amazing winter boots. Yeah, and see, that's what it's there for too, is to make people feel better. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't, especially when you're getting out of DV. That's what my friend and I used to do that all the time. We would gather up items for the women's shelter and we would bring them there because, like you said, a lot of times too, when it comes to DV, when these ladies are hospitalized, they take all of their clothes for evidence and then they're left with nothing. So, they would always just ask if we could bring, like sweatpants and a white t-shirt, some socks, like toiletries would be another one. Like we would get the little mini deodorants and stuff and bring those up there. Because I had to utilize those services myself, and so I was always so grateful, always so grateful. Um, no, no, and that's the thing, Kai Kai. I can't. She says, "Can you even imagine bearing your own child or any human?" That blows my mind. Well, and that's the thing I'm thinking too, because I mean, it would be extremely hard to pull all of this off by herself. She might have. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it would be extremely hard for her to do all of that, right? Um, and then, like Justin was saying, like actually digging a grave, right? It was a shallow grave, but you just gotta imagine having to do all that when you're distraught too. Um, you know, yeah. I don't know. I'm very surprised that oh, Joshy Boy isn't in there with her. You're welcome, Pam. Thank you. It's terrible. No, no. I mean, even if it's like, well, like even Justin was saying, if it's an accident, it's an accident, right? Like you're gonna call because you need help. Um, it's the same thing with um, that Brittany lady, that took her son's life instead of stopping and calling the police when she thought he was like getting dragged by the car or that she ran him over. She just kept going, never thinking about calling. And in my opinion, she did that on purpose. I think that he was scapegoated. I just think that that is a really heavy element that we see a lot of times with these cases. These kids that are, you know, all the other kids in the house are so good and there's one that's so bad. You know, David Peltzer was a book that I had read years and years ago. A Child Called It is the first book in the series, but it chronicles his abuse that he endured by his own mother. He was the scapegoated child. He spent time in the basement. He was starved. He was beaten. He was mistreated. When he was taken away, there was another child in the household that endured the same. It's sick. It's just like any abuser. They're not going to stop abusing. It's not the child's fault. It's not the one that's being abused's fault. It's the abuser all day. Never and never accept that, guys. Never ever accept that. Even if you have to concede the point to stay safe, always remember it's not you, it's them. They're the sick ones. You didn't do anything wrong. And don't ever let anybody blame you and make you think that you did something wrong, because you didn't. Oh crap, Mom, and I'm sorry. Mom, and how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. And I'm so
Oh,
sorry I was tardy.
no worries. Don't be sorry at all. I'm happy to have you. Gosh, it's just been a long day, of info.
It really has. That's a beautiful tribute photo. I can't believe it. I mean, I'm
Thank
happy
you.
that they found him, but my gosh.
I'm super surprised too. I'm super surprised too. And yeah, now it looks a lot nicer that you're back, that you're up here. Before made me look like I was the angel that I'm not. So
Oh, gosh. Yeah, he's the angel. We're the devils on the shoulder. No, just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. I got one on each, right? Like telling me, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Um, oh man. So yeah, like how are you feeling about all this? I'm gonna cam down. So
I was going to have the cam on tonight, and then when we lost the power, and then it was just one thing after another. But
are you? Yeah, you guys are having storms.
yeah, and I didn't even know that lightning could go um, side to side, like literally instead of up and down, it was going left to right.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, I tried to have my older son take videos. Him and his friends were like, oh, it happens. I'm like, it happens. I've never seen anything like this. I thought we were getting lasered. It was weird. It was really weird. But what I don't know. I've been trying to look into like what do we actually know that might have happened? Have we
Mm-hmm.
heard anything else? And how do you feel? I was wondering how you felt, and maybe the chat feels, hi to everybody in chat, about how they didn't give much info and they said, because it's an ongoing investigation.
Yeah, like I kind of, felt like maybe we can give them a little bit of time and space to kind of figure it out because I bet you, I mean, I don't know. I guess if I had more information, I could make a better judgment call, but it just seems like maybe they weren't expecting to get this type of, confession just yet, or maybe they were expecting it and they were just kind of, waiting to go find, because I don't know when she actually confessed.
No, me either. And I still can't find the sourcing on the pew pew that they said was found buried somewhere near the property. Have you heard any confirmations on that?
No, I haven't. I heard about like the dog hitting, but I have not heard anything about the pew pew, huh?
No, I haven't heard about that yet. But obviously, you don't want to jeopardize an investigation. So I can understand if we have to speculate for the sake of him getting justice. The one thing I did notice, though, and I can't remember the name of the channel, they were heading there to search, and they were down there today, and they were at the house where, Jaden was staying with his mom, and it was not secured as a crime scene. I can go pull
Okay.
the channel from my history, but I can't remember the name of the channel. And I was shocked, because I was like, well, then maybe, in my opinion, maybe that means that it was somewhere else that it
It wasn't
occurred.
the. Oh, sorry, Mama. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying maybe it was somewhere else that it occurred. I don't know.
Yeah, because I didn't hear that. Now, was it on that Hatfield and McCoy channel?
Yes, yes. And they went to the home, as you can see, and they walked around it and everything. And it wasn't, there was nobody there to say, oh, we're don't do this, don't do that.
Yeah, he just walked up, right?
Yeah. He just walked all around the property. I was shocked. And then, but if it's not a crime scene, or maybe they already collected what they felt they needed, I don't know. I was just kind of, taken back by if they found him, just speculating. Just, you know
Yeah.
how it,
Well, I mean, because we don't know what happened. Like, what do you think about the whole overdosing on sleeping aids? Because I don't know about that at all.
yeah, that doesn't seem, I don't think that's what happened. I mean, I know a lot of parents give their children medications and because they just really don't want to deal with them. They'll give them Benadryls but I
Yes.
mean, if anything, I can see something else, possibly accidentally or intentionally. Maybe it was something that he wasn't supposed to have, you know?
Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, look, if they had, I don't know what they like to partake in, particularly, but I know there's certain, drugs out there like that can be absorbed through the skin, like fent being one of them. And so if they're into that kind of thing, even on a level to, because some people will do like math and then they'll, to go up and then to come down, they'll use, downers. And so um, it makes me wonder, like, did he get into something that they had and then she's blaming it on that, hoping that she can slide it off in the talks? Because, I mean, we're going to find out in the talks report.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we were speculating that, maybe she's not alone and there's future charges coming, and that's why we didn't hear as much.
Yeah.
Like, have we
Because what
heard
was it?
anything
Second
from the
degree
family?
Oh, sorry, Mom. Was it second degree manslaughter?
Yeah, and oh, I gotta read it. Hold on, let me see.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'm glad you have it because I'm surprised I didn't write it down, but I was so involved in chatting and stuff too. Because people were saying such good things. Just said if you watch the video, also LE didn't call YouTubers back when they called in about the clothes. Yeah, they never did get a phone call back when they found those clothes. Thanks, Keith, for reminding me. Because yeah, isn't that's weird too?
It might take time, or maybe they already have a lot of stuff that we're unaware of, so they might already know that it's not, you know?
Well, I just found it weird because, like, it's been alleged that the dad, or the stepdad, I should call him the dad because, I mean, I guess he's the father figure, but um, he apparently, like, said they were his clothes, but that LE just left them there.
Oh, maybe for the scent dog? I don't know.
Well, I think someone did say that too, but I was thinking, I don't, I was just thinking if they used them for the scent dog, they wouldn't have left them behind unless they had anticipated someone else coming up the road, later on. But it's so weird.
Well, I mean, they might have been trying not to get caught and confused and distract and things, so maybe they had known that it was somebody else's, or I don't know. I think we're going to hear a lot more on this to come with this case, for what caused her to turn herself in and if she acted alone and things like that. Just from what I was, hearing.
Yeah, well, I agree with you there. There's going to be so much more happening, right, in the case. I mean, I really believe that. I do. I think there's going to be so much more, and I really feel like it's unfortunate, you know, that gosh, I just don't think that we're going to hear good news. I think we're going to hear bad news before we hear anything good.
Oh, absolutely. And have they confirmed where he was found?
So they found him in this area here, and it was called Canoe Road, but it's right up near this area, Hall Branch Road, and this is where like they all kind of live in this area, and that's where Grandma was buried too, to my knowledge.
Yeah, because that's what I was getting was the emails and things were about him being buried with the grandmother. And I was like, with the grandmother, but near the grandmother. That makes more sense.
I was thinking the same thing because wouldn't they like somebody notice somebody digging in a cemetery, even if it's a private one?
You would think, but I guess it depends on what time of day. There's a lot of people around. I mean, there's been times that we've gone and we visit loved ones or we put, flags on, veteran graves. And
Yeah,
sometimes, Dill likes to clean the tombstones because he can't do a lot with his, standing and walking that much, but he likes to do little things like that where he doesn't have to do too much. And
yeah.
we've seen graves that do look like they've been disturbed. It's really odd. And so I don't know if it's really as uncommon as we think. I don't know if it's if it's just, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
odd. I've seen it quite a lot, actually.
Oh yeah. Well, and it is weird, and you would think, well, why would that happen? Like, I mean, I've known people who have been buried like with their animals or like, or if a spouse passes away next and they'll, want to be buried near them or something. But that is weird to just know that there's disturbed grave sites everywhere, or commonly seen.
And we counted. I don't know, because I do know sometimes they fill them in. But I was just thinking if depends on how many graves are in there. But if it's a private one, then it's probably small and it would stick out, I would think.
Yeah, and like I will say that the way that it was situated, off the beaten
Do
path.
we
I
know
mean,
how long he might have
not
been in
yet.
there?
No. Well, because remember we were talking about how like the last time it's alleged that they saw the aunt or spoke with the aunt was July 3rd, and then she wasn't able to really speak with him. So that was kind of a big red flag, but then she didn't do anything about it. She just kind of, I guess, let it ride. I don't know what the arrangement was even, between the aunts. Like they're very, I'm not gonna say that they seem secretive, but it's like they're not telling the whole story.
It is. And like we were saying last night, there's just a couple little things that make you speculate like that. And I was thinking about, what Officer Gayhart had said, that they didn't have, was it oh darn, documented, right? He wasn't documented to have a mental or medical, you know, different ability. And
Yep.
then you think of how they were speaking and how they started a GoFundMe and then how they were the first on Facebook. And it makes me wonder, did they get ahead of it by saying, it can be hard to handle him? Did they know things and they didn't say anything? That's why it's going to be interesting to find that out and to see if there's any other charges that might be associated. Because to me, I don't think, I mean, I guess it's possible, but I can't imagine any rug in the world that you could do what it's alleged that she has done on her own.
I know. I know. That's what I'm thinking the same thing, because it's just odd. Like, it's very difficult. He's actually really tall for his age, in my opinion. I think. I mean, I don't know, boys normally. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but he seems like he's a pretty tall kid. Um, and I mean, for her to be able to, like, even, like, let's just say that she did give him too much meds and he did, succumb to that. But then when she found him in the morning, she was the only one that, I mean, that whole thing doesn't even add up to the time frame, because it would have taken her longer than just till 9:30 to report him missing. So something had to have happened earlier in the night. I don't know.
Oh, definitely. And I'm wondering if it could even have been before. I guess we'll find out. It just seems the way, I mean, it's not like they said a lot, but just a little bit we know, I would think that would require some assistance. And just him saying that they didn't have anything documented, just leads me to speculate that that means that people were telling law enforcement, oh, he's really hyper, it's really hard to handle him, a lot. And, maybe there's some guilty knowledge or something. I don't know. I just want, everybody to know that I'm not trying to be cruel and harsh, but you want justice for these babies, because I feel like since Summer Wells, they set this precedence that there's like a playbook out here. And when parents have something horrible happen, they run on and they search the Reddits or whatever, and it's just not right. And I think that Jaden could, help to set the example to stop, some of it. And this is just purely speculation on my behalf.
No, I agree, because it's like anytime something like this happens, it does bring more awareness to some of these issues. I mean, especially when it comes to like someone else seeing this, and like, the answer is not to give them back to the biological parent who maybe, arguably should never have even had them to begin with. And I'm not saying they shouldn't have had them, the baby. I'm just saying that, they didn't deserve. But I will say this is weird. This is from let me get this down. This is from University of Kentucky, and I hope you guys can see that just to show. But I asked, Google, can you overdose on sleep medications? It says melatonin overdoses in children are on the rise. Here's what parents need to know. So I guess a child could be given too much melatonin.
Oh, yeah. I think children are susceptible to all kinds of things because even as adults, we are. But I mean, with their prior history and stuff, I highly doubt that's what it was. Because you would think that you would just call and, you know, okay, hang on one second. There's somebody walking around out here.
Yeah, I mean, it says dizziness, drowsiness, headache, hyperthermia, vomiting, change in blood pressure can be symptoms. And it depends on how much the child weighs. Call poison control 1-800-222-1222. 2, sorry.
And it's
One-
so diluted now. I mean, I don't know. It's a really diluted because we give it to Haley every now and then. And it's like 1 milligram is like 2 droppers. But anything's possible. And that's the good thing about the toxicology reports, right? And having all of that done.
Well, that's what's going to really say what, was given to him. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, and I never thought about taking more because, like I said, the ones that I've taken have put me on my butt. So I mean, I wasn't ever gonna think about taking more. But some of them don't work either. Like melatonin is one that really doesn't even work for me. Hey, Joe. Um,
Yeah, there's only,
ODing
I think I
anyone on
shared that.
OTCs is assault. Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Mm.
I agree
Yeah,
with
there was
that.
only one kind that I found that actually was helpful and didn't give me a horrible headache or make you groggy. But I guess like we're all so different and medicines are not, a lot of those vitamins and stuff, right, are not really regulated. So you never really know what you're getting sometimes.
Well, that's true. And like Unisom is another one that is an over the counter. Because I didn't realize, I guess, even how dangerous the over the counter ones could be. Lori says exactly, Joe. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, most of them are Benadryl, and you're supposed to give a very little Benadryl for allergies or allergic reactions, depending on their size, right, and their weight.
that's the
I
biggest
mean, I
one.
want to hope so, right? We want to hope that's all it was an over the counter.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, was he taking anything for sleep, regularly? Because like his aunt would know that. Because I mean, she lived with them the longest. I mean, longer than his mom. You know.
You would think.
Yeah, like was
Hopefully
that
we'll hear
something he
from
was?
them.
Yeah, like was he already taking it? That's just weird. That's weird.
Well, it would be nice if they would have spoke more. I mean, I didn't see where they were talking at all,
All they
besides
said
that
that
one.
they would give him a hug. That's all. That was like the latest one. They were like, "Oh yeah, we would give him a hug if we could." It was
This is just
weird. There's something with the ants. It's there's something that isn't right. Either they're just relieved that Jaden wasn't in their care when something happened to him, but like it just doesn't seem. I mean, I saw more emotions from the people in the town that were interviewed than I did from the aunts, and I'm sorry, I would just be really upset if I made that decision for my nephew. I just, I don't know.
No, I absolutely agree. And I was talking to my neighbor real briefly about it. And she was, saying that she wouldn't doubt if we find out that they had a lot more involvement because of their behavior. And then also, that if you, were the mom and you had failed as a mom and you weren't able to take care of your children or provide them a safe and loving environment, or, you know, or if she was relapsed on drugs again and stuff, it wouldn't be that far fetched that they could manipulate or guilt trip or involve her. So, I mean, since she was the only one arrested, I don't, know that that would be as far as, but I can see some guilty. There's something wrong, and I think we can feel that as moms, right? Like an intuition, not just moms, but
No, I think so. I do think it's kind of a mom thing. I mean, or dads too, that are really involved in the kids' lives and things like that. Because I mean, it is odd nowadays. We see a lot more moms that are involved in the kids' lives. Like we see with Felicia here. Um, but yeah, I think dads feel that too, where it's like, you know, it's just something isn't right.
no, the behaviors are really disturbing, in my opinion. And it's beautiful to be reminded, though, about how much good there really is when we see the communities that come out for these children. And, so that's one uplifting positive out of this poor boy's tragic loss.
Oh yeah, it is tragic. I mean, I wasn't expecting it at all. I really wasn't. I guess today I was getting a little bit more nervous, as the days were going on. And I am glad they found him, but I mean, it's tragic. Kiki says, I wonder if he was on any meds for ADHD or what have you. And that's a good question too. I don't know. Did you hear anything about him being on medications for ADHD?
Well, I don't think he could have been on anything that would have been prescribed to him or documented because of what the
Uh,
troopers, because of what, is he a trooper? He's a trooper, right?
Yeah, I,
Gayheart?
I just I was calling him Trooper. Yeah, I think because he's a state trooper. I think he's a state trooper.
Yeah, because of what he said. So I'm speculating that I doubt it because that would have been documented, I would assume, you know?
I would assume so too. Yeah, now that you say that, I think you're right. Yeah, I mean, because that may have been something. Well, that's what they were trying to say about Sebastian too, that he needed his medicine. And then when Katie was asked what kinds of medicine he was on, she said ADHD meds and then sleep.
Yeah, and at least with that situation, though, right, there was documentation about certain things. Although, they tried to say HIPAA would not allow them and evade the questioning on another time.
Well, and I agree with Lori. I think like the melatonin isn't the best for kids, especially if you're not really careful because, like you said, Mom, and it has a lot to do with like the weight and stuff. And I think that can be hard to regulate, especially when the kids are growing. That's tough.
Yeah. And it's also prescribed a lot because there's some things that are helped by melatonin. Like when we were told to give it to our daughter, it was from the neurologist.
Oh, I see. So they prescribed it, but it is still like the gummies. Is it like no? You said it was a dropper. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, the one we get is a dropper, and we get it from GNC or from Vitamin Shop. Usually they order it, but I think the one down here actually had it in stock last time. That's the one thing about vitamins and stuff that I noticed, I'm sure you guys have too, is like you have such a short period of time to take them and then they go bad. So
Yeah.
we don't go through the bottles that quickly. but I replace them quite often because once they're open.
Yeah. Well, and you want to be so careful with them too because it is serious. Like, I mean, I guess I didn't realize that you could actually overdose from melatonin. So that's kind of good to know. Like, um, I didn't give it to Olivia till she was probably like 16, um, and having sleep troubles. So, and I'd be like, well, just take a gummy and see how that works. And then she was like, it really doesn't work that good, but a lot of it too, I think is like the phone time and stuff.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of kids, I don't get it. Like if they're so hyperactive and they're running, running, running around, usually at the end of the day, they're exhausted and they fall asleep from doing so much running around. At least that was my experience with my oldest, and they said he had ADHD. And, luckily we didn't have to do medication. I mean, they offered it, but he just stayed really active and he slept good except for the growing pains.
Yeah. Well, and you want them to be able to have a good night's sleep because it's so important, to for focus and everything. Like I know when I don't sleep well and then, I'm sitting here running on fumes and I'm like, I'm not really doing anything very well at this point. I'm just so darn tired at this point. But, I mean, yeah, you want them to be able to feel like they got a good night's sleep, and I think it's harder for teenagers and stuff like that too. But um and I want to say thank you to Town Chat Cafe for gifting a Lady Freedom membership. So if you get a membership, make sure you say thank you to Town Chat Cafe. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things too is like, parents a lot of times when especially if they have special needs children, it's really difficult to acclimate if they're up all night and it's not safe. So that's why I don't judge parents that ends up getting prescribed medications and stuff like that because every one of our situations are so different. And I'm the first to admit that if the baby wasn't starting to sleep on his own, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd have to try to, get a sitter to come a little bit more during the day so I could sleep a little more, you know?
Yeah.
But if it was 20 years ago with my first son, my body wasn't able to do that. Like I couldn't, it was like on slow mo if I only got 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I know what you mean. Well, and then also with this dynamic in the household, I'm wondering, like, did these other boys get along with Jaden, or what was I mean, did she deliberately because that's what I'm worried about, her saying it's going to be an accident. So I'm kind of trying to think of all the dynamics in the household.
Well, I would assume that they've been interviewed, I would hope, with the proper psychologist, and we might hear about it maybe with a trial because they have to have more information on did he adjust okay? Because it seems right now, right, from everything that we've heard, that he was there and he went missing sometime the night before, which I agree. I don't understand how, but
Yeah, that's the timeline, but I know. I'm kind of like iffy about it because, I hate to believe everything they say and then it's like, so I'm trying to kind of gauge like, okay, what's the most probable, thing here. What could be the most probable thing? Because if they're saying all of this happened at 9 o'clock, and then that he was reported missing, I think it was like at 9:26 or something weird, but we'll just say 9:30. You know, that's quite a bit of time, but then again, it's not, especially if we're expected to believe that he overdosed, they found him, you know what I mean? Like, that just doesn't sound right at all.
and one of the charges was mutilating a corpse, right?
Uh, I believe so. I might have to look that up. Because I thought the only charge she got was the second-degree manslaughter, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I'm trying to find where it was officially said because I heard both. I heard a couple things.
I mean, I think she should be in trouble for, you know, yeah, anything that she did to him. I think that he needs justice, but I don't know exactly what they've decided on, you know?
Oh, absolutely. But tomorrow would be the arraignment, right?
I think so. Somebody said that she might make bail with that charge. If, you know, if it's only that charge. But see, they were also questioning Josh, the stepfather. So I don't know what he's had to say. You know, if he helped her or if he hurt her, or, you know what I mean? He threw her right under the bus. Let's see. Felicia Gross. I'm guessing she's going to be Spicer. Okay. Uh, oh, 8 hours ago. 4 hours. Okay. Mother charged after remains of 10-year-old Barrett County, Breathitt County boy, Kentucky. Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah, there's her. Okay, so her current mugshot, which is, I'll put it up for you guys. Mama, do you think that's a tooth abscess, or do you think, because look at her jaw.
Well, I was thinking that it looks like she's either been physically, right, injured, or maybe it's just, I can't imagine what this would be doing as a mom, and just as a regular person, but a mom, I just can't
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
And she
No,
looks
I
so
understand.
different.
She does look a lot different, huh? Like even from the news clip she was in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just says a mother has been, oh, of course it covered it up on me. No, I don't want your newsletter. Thank you. Oh, it's being a pain in the butt. Okay. So, yeah, a mother has been arrested after her 10-year-old Breathitt County son, who has been missing for nearly a week, was found dead, troopers said. Kentucky State Police have confirmed that they have found the body of Jayden Spicer buried on Canoe Road in Jackson. In a press briefing Tuesday evening, troopers said that the boy's mother, Felicia Gross, is in police custody in connection to the discovery of her son's body. Gross, who's 33, was taken to the Kentucky River Regional Jail and has been charged with second-degree manslaughter. Oh, there you go, Mom. And abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and falsely reporting an accident. Well, they threw the book at her then.
Good.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because I was thinking, oh gosh, is that all she got was the second-degree manslaughter? But no, abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and falsely reported an incident. Spicer's body has been transported to the medical examiner's office in Frankfurt for autopsy. Spicer was later, uh, sorry, that was weird. It just rebooted itself. Spicer was last seen at his Breathitt County home on August 5th. So they're saying last seen August 5th. By who? I wonder.
I don't know, but so many people do have those like ring cams or dash cams, so maybe they have something, that they have for a matter of the fact. But I mean, definitely wouldn't shock me, if people, that maybe they wouldn't expect fibbed and said, oh, yeah, I saw him, or maybe even misunderstood because we don't know. Does he look similar to the siblings? And did other people even know he was living there regularly? Could have been a
I know.
mistake.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, and I think that is actually according, now that I'm reading a little further in, I guess that is according to the parents. Like, they're saying that was the last time they saw him. Yikes.
Yeah, definitely think we know now that their word means nothing.
Yeah, because they're just gonna try to, now they're gonna trying to cover their butt, and then I heard. Did you hear anything about her lawyering up?
Before she was arrested?
Mm-hmm. Like I heard that on someone's channel right before she was arrested.
I hadn't, but there could have been ongoing discussions, right, back and forth. So they might have given her the opportunity to before they, got the official confession potentially, because I don't think they have the money or the resources, unless the priest that's been so kind to do the reward and covered the funeral. I don't know who would pay for her lawyer.
I'm so sorry, Mom, and you were breaking up just a little bit there. Oh, did I lose your mom? And hold on, let me look here. Okay, thanks, Mom. I was like, well, and I was on my phone, and I'm like, did I do something? Was I taking too much internet up? Hey, Detroit Rock City, good to see you. Well, and that's the thing, Lori. I don't know. Oh, are you going to sleep, Miss Kiki? Good night. Thank you for being here. I know it's just been a long ass day. I'll tell you what. My brain thinks the same thing. Seclusion works. My brain thinks sleep means it can run amok and do whatever it wants. Some ideas it pulls in my dreams. I have that too, unfortunately. Sometimes I'm like, oh gosh. Or I'll lie down and I can't stay asleep. That's my problem, is staying asleep. I'll go lie down, and then next thing I know, it'll be like an hour and a half later and I'm wide awake, and then I of course look on YouTube, and that doesn't help me, unwind. It just, gets the gears going again. The next thing I know, I'm online for 2 hours after that. I think more kids are having trouble with sleep because they don't get out in the sun as much, and it just disrupts their circadian rhythm. I believe that, Brenda. That makes a lot of sense to me, especially because if you're always cooped up in the house, you don't get, you know, your body isn't regulated. I think that more exercise is always a good thing, or like sports, or just getting involved, like you said, outdoors for sure. Oh, there's Mammon. Hey, Mammon.
Thank you. Oh, this
You're
internet is
welcome. I'm
awful.
sorry. Well, and what were you saying? What were you saying?
Oh no, I was just saying this internet is so bad. Like I'm grateful to have the hotspot to use, but I was asking my son, can he help and make sure that it's a little stronger or how I don't understand how the data and stuff works on these things.
I don't either with the I mean, I use a hotspot with my phone. Um, but I don't know how it works, because like even the park um Wi-Fi is really bad. Like I can't use the park Wi-Fi.
I guess I got spoiled because ours was pretty decent. And then since the storm now, it's all wackadoo. So I'll probably hang in here for like another 10, 15 minutes and then have to get off because I gotta go charge the phone in the car. And it's
Yeah.
raining.
Well, I'm just so glad that you were able to come up, because I mean, navigating through all of this is a lot, especially when there's a lot of unknowns still, but then it's kind of like we can kind of pull in a lot, I mean, just from older cases, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And in the coming days, I'm sure we're going to have a plethora of different things to sort through. And I'm interested to, I'm going to try to make a note, about what the clothing the YouTubers found and to see if there's any follow up, as to why nobody called them back.
I'm interested to know that as well. Like, that is weird to me. I don't know. I wonder if the police officers sometimes are like, these pesky YouTubers, like always causing trouble, you know?
Oh, yeah. I know I've talked to some people that it's exactly like that. And To me, that's what makes it nerve-wracking. There's almost like a playbook, and criminals talk to criminals just like moms talk to moms. And, we can never understand certain conversations because we're not doing anything or thinking anything. And it just makes me wonder, like, I don't know, like, do they know this? And that's why there's certain things they like to instigate because it's not a good thing if law enforcement doesn't realize that we have a lot of value, you know.
Well, I agree there, and I mean I'm not just saying that because I'm a YouTuber too. It's more or less because of just watching different cases and how things unfold, and I don't think we should ever underestimate anyone's brain. Like, I mean, there could be 7,000 people in a room and everybody's trying to figure out the same puzzle and then one person will get it. And, I mean, a lot of times it would be the smartest person in the room or, what have you. But sometimes that's not the case. We all have something to bring to the table.
So odd. I was trying to answer town chat, and I do agree with you, lady. Um, and StreamYards is showing me two different messages. So I don't know if my reply went in there, but it's because we lost power. And I had debated with my husband about replacing the little generator. And I was
Mhm.
like, no, they're too expensive. And we, adult stuff, right? Where you're like, should we do this? Should we do that?
Oh, yeah.
And this is the first time that we've lost power that it's been more than like a half an hour.
And you're like, I should have got it. No.
I know. I know I'll never live this one down. And it was a great deal too, so I do regret it.
That's cute. You're like, I'm never gonna live this one down. I know. Oh gosh, I would just hear, I told you so. I told you you got that thing, the generator. We would have been in better shape,
We would, because I have to stop giving away too many things when somebody needs something. I have to like relax that now. And I gave away the little solar ones that we had. I had a couple of those little solar ones. And of course, I didn't charge the battery packs. I mean, that's just, I'm like, oh boy. But there's a lot worse in this world than losing power, and we'll be fine. So I'm not complaining.
Well, gosh, we just get so used to it. And, especially when something like this happens, oh gosh, I would be, like, what the heck, and I know there's a hurricane, I guess, a brewing, but I don't know. I try not to concern myself until they're like, hey, you need to evacuate, and then I'm like, okay, let's evacuate, because I'll worry too much. Like, if I worry, I'll worry myself.
Oh, yeah, I do the same thing. You talked to me a few times. I didn't know how I was going to deal with these tornadoes because it was constant. And as much as I don't want to know ahead of time, it was like, oh, in a way, I'd like to go back to the snowstorms and the tropical storms or be in Florida where you have the hurricane and then you have a break until it's time and then you're told and then you're prepared. You either leave or you stay.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard to, I would think it would be hard to know, but I mean, if you know the area or there's certain areas that flood more often or, I kind of bank on that. Little Miss Sharon says vitamin D has 300 functions in your body. I mean, that's a huge amount. Like, and that's something natural that we could just go outside and get more of, um, with proper sunblock, of course. But hey, Detroit. Oh, here we go. Yeah, here's the whole charges, guys, in case you missed them earlier. So yeah, I mean, and I think that with those combined charges, and who knows, now once they get the toxicology and autopsy back, those could also change, I think.
Well, she's going to be without any rugs. And I mean, I can't imagine a more hell than what she's going to be enduring every day, all day. I can't imagine. I'll pray for her because I can't imagine ever. I mean, if she was on rugs, if that's the truth, but if she wasn't, then no. Oh, no. I don't know. We're supposed to pray for everybody, but
I think it's like a good thing to
still.
leverage. Like if you can, and they're in a bad state like that, I mean, I would leverage that, and I would just be like, the longer we can keep them here, the more that they're going to want to get out of here and, get whatever a fix or something. Oh, Lori says, okay, in fact, it was early this AM when we found out uh, that she hired a lawyer. See, I heard kind of earlier in the day myself, Lori. Yeah, thank you. I mean, this had to have been kind of in the making, I would think, the last couple of days.
Yeah, and I wonder how. I hope it wasn't with the reward money or anything.
Good night, Chuchi. Yeah, I mean, I hope not too. Well, that's the thing. Okay, so I was a little bit, pissy about that earlier because I'm like, what is with these aunts asking for the GoFundMe money? Like, I hope they end up giving it back to whoever donated because obviously they didn't use it for a reward fund. But I don't really know how GoFundMe works, like in terms of collecting on it. I mean, I've given to it, but I've never like collected a GoFundMe.
Oh, yeah, you have to be specific with what you're going to be using the funds for. So if people went back in there and they requested, a return, then they would definitely get it back, in my opinion. And, somebody probably reported it by now because, since, like you said, he's been discovered, it seems like it was a confession and she led him there. So there'd be no need for a reward. So somebody might have reported it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Not saying that I would ever do it that quickly. I mean, I would give them time to see how it hit, but some people don't wait.
Yeah. And I think it's a really good lesson here too. Like, the faster we can establish what's going on. I mean, I think that they moved pretty quickly in this situation. Like, it almost it reminded me a lot of Sebastian's case. Obviously, the way it went down, 9 o'clock bedtime. We just are, expected to believe that he vanished, which he wasn't going to do that. That's the most impossible thing that can happen. And then once they established that he wasn't in the area, because they searched the radius, then they started to investigate more thoroughly. But I think they were investigating from the start, especially because of the track record of the parents, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
And I would expect that with Chris and Katie Proudfoot with having CPS involvement, and Sebastian was having a hard time, within their household. I'm surprised that they didn't, when they scaled back the search, I really, really thought that they were going to turn it into a criminal investigation.
Yeah, I think a lot of us did. And Holly, that's what I was trying to say. That's what I meant too, was the, sobering up and then having to realize, what you actually did. If that played a big role in it. I
Yeah.
mean, there would be nothing worse if she has a heart.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, it's sorry, Mom, and I was looking for that comment there. Yeah, oh, imagine sobering up and realizing what you did. Oh my goodness, I know. I wonder if she was like really under the influence of whatever, and it could have been a mixture of things, and she gave too much of a medication that he's used to taking. But I don't know. I'm afraid to kind of concede that this was an accident.
I mean, by our definition of accident, it probably wouldn't be, but depending on how they are, maybe some people, can try to justify things by saying it's an accident. We're going to hear what exactly went on before you know it, and they're going to have to fess up. And I think, I don't think it's going to be the greatest when it comes to the aunt for some reason.
Mm-mm. They're acting so strange, and I honestly don't think that guy's going to take the fall for her, and allow himself to go down, with her. I think it would take more, of her telling on him, than him confessing anything now that she has, I guess I should say.
Yeah, because he would be picked up. I mean, I don't think they would sit and wait on that.
Well, I mean, it's been alleged that they did pick him up and question him, but I think he's been released.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, it's horrible, Lori. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. Yeah, Brenda says yes, it is a tactic that LE uses to their advantage. I would think so. I mean, like, because that would get, you know, people desperate to finally tell what happened. The truth.
Oh, definitely. And I wonder if we'll hear anything from the workers at the McDonald's that Lisa B was telling us about last night, with the McDonald's and the Wendy's.
Yes, I think that had huge. You know, I think that had a big impact, I should say, on Felicia's state of mind and how. I think it impacted her decision to come clean. I think so.
Yeah, I tend to think you're right on this.
Well, and then also night couponing, but also I think it, like I didn't know about the Hatfield McCoys being in the area and, putting their own set of heat on the situation and going over to the house and asking questions. And, I think those things really make a big difference, even though I know that law enforcement kind of frowns upon it. But, I mean, I think that public pressure can really do a lot to help. It can. I mean, I'm sure it works both ways, but I think it's more of a positive outcome more times than not. I mean, we did get an answer as to where Jayden was, and he's not out there anymore.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it does help. And I'm sorry I put the StreamYard thing in the chat. That button is popping up again in that spot.
No worries. I do it all the time, and I'm like, I didn't want to drop that link. I wish you could preload links and it was that easy to drop them as you go. Because I mean, golly.
That's what I was trying to do because I was trying to, ask if anybody can support, the channel because we want to get the channel a laptop or a computer, right, lady? You were saying they could really use one.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad with that. And I'm like still looking, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go and get just a regular one and moving forward. You don't have to get too fancy with it at first. Oh, I see where you dropped it. Well, and I was also gonna ask you too, Mom, and this is a little bit off subject, kind of sorta, but like Betty was talking about earlier about, kind of getting together, an event for Sebastian, and that it was, it could be kind of costly. And so I was thinking, well, what about like crowdsourcing funds and things like that? Um, like, what do you think of that kind of stuff? Because I haven't done something like that and it's been a long time. Like, and I'll say, even for instance, like when I did the reading is fundamental uh, program for PTA and different things like that, or like if we were having field day, I would go over to, like, we had Andy's frozen custard there, and they would give me like the little cups of custard, and they would just give them to us if we would go over there and ask them, for the school. And I know that there's a lot of really great local, restaurants and things that would do things like that for a special event. But like, I mean, do you have any ideas about something like that?
Oh, yeah, I think we could definitely do that. And I was just thinking of that today, that it's been some time, right, since March, that there was anything for Sebastian. I think that would be a good idea because it's such a financial burden that, it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest thing, right? And then getting everybody there and organizing it. Like, there's a lot of working parts. And I was thinking, if, like if we could all get together and figure out ways to kind of, help out, just even small stuff. Um, like that, like, getting food donated, or, just different things. It's amazing. Like, I didn't realize how easy it was until um I would just ask them, you know what I mean? And I'm like, and at first I was really nervous to do it. And I'm like, well, what if they say no? Or like, like, I always feel like weird asking for something for nothing, but like there's so many places that, that's before I realized they could write it off on their taxes and different things too. So I mean, now I don't feel as bad because they, they're getting something out of it too. But I don't know. I just thought, I was thinking about that today.
Oh, yeah, I would love to help if you need help or if Betty needs help. And I think that we have such an amazing group of people, all the subscribers and things like that, that everybody could pitch in and make calls. And I don't think it would be that difficult if everybody came together, depending on what Seth was thinking he wanted to do.
Oh, well, great, Kai Kai. That's wonderful. She says I would love to help financially and help with anything as I'm here, here in Nashville. That's great. Yeah. Definitely send me an email, guys. And we're gonna get something going, because I haven't talked with Betty yet, but then, Sony was like, hey, could you get together with some of the creators? And I'm like, yeah, I could definitely do that. Like, anything to help, because, like you said, so I appreciate that so much. And you too, Mom. And I mean, it's like, I know that if we all pull together, we can do it. Um, I was like, I just don't know how yet, but I know that we can do it.
Oh, absolutely. And there's a lot of places, that host events and things.
Yeah, well, and it's nice to have people that are familiar with the area too. Because, like, that's how I knew about Andy's, is like one of the moms helped me with that, and she's like, oh, are you doing riff this year? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay, so this is what you can do, these are some things. And I was like, oh, cool. And we did. And of course, like, I would buy my own stuff, like cookies and stuff to bring, and different things like that. But I'm like, just things like that. It's so especially when there's a kid involved, especially when it's a local cause, people really, they want to come out and help.
Oh, definitely. And there's all kinds of things too. That's why I was saying it depends on what Seth thinks would be appropriate. And, they have all those ships that kind of like the ones they use for day cruises. And I just saw an event on one of them where they released a bunch of balloons. So there's all kinds of things that you could do.
Oh, a balloon release. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
We always did the lanterns for my late mother-in-law, those lanterns. Oh my gosh. So
The
many
lanterns are
times.
really
Yeah.
cool.
I'm not allowed to put any off anymore though, because I always did it wrong and it would catch fire and it was the whole thing. But they are beautiful. They are very pretty.
That's what I'm afraid of, Mom. And I can see me doing that. Like, oh, maybe don't give me one of these until it's already lit, and then I'll send it off.
Yeah, she had a sense of humor, so every time I went to let it go,
Aw,
the
thank you,
wind would
lady.
come.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of factors. Like balloons seem so much safer.
Ditto, I agree. I do.
They seem kind of more safe. Lori says that she will donate too. That's great, Lori. Thank you so much. And I'll let you guys know before we do it because I'd like to do maybe like a fundraiser night or something like that. Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. E, etc. Yeah, there's so many great creators out there that like are really good and especially have really great ideas too. Because I'm like open to hearing what all we could do to help. Um, or what Betty has in mind, and then okay, so how can we achieve that? Or you know gosh, if we can spread out all of the you know just everything. I was thinking, gosh, if everybody just gave like $10, and see how that would go. But we'd have to average it out or kind of figure out, okay, so this is what we need to do and this is how much we need. you know this is our goal. And then and if some people can only give $1, that's great. Like that's $1 more than we had. That's the way I look at it.
Oh, absolutely. That's why when I put things in the chat, if anybody can help chip in to support the channel for you, it's even just $1 because the things cost money. And not to change the subject away from for Sebastian, but you've done so much with covering his case and so many cases. And I just know that when you get, another computer, it's going to help you substantially. And while I think that you should have, money to go off and have a spa day, I know that you just want to be able to do this and, at least cover your expenses and make a little bit of ends meet, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing right now. It's like hard for everybody. And so I know it's like you just kind of want to, help out wherever you can. And like I know it, like that's why I say if somebody could give, even a couple of bucks just to help out, I think it would help tremendously. And Brenda Calvert says, since Sebastian loved to dance, why not dance to bring awareness to Sebastian? I think that's a great idea. I mean, I think about Sebastian when I go and swim in the pool, because Seth coming in, saying, Sebastian loves to swim. They've always said that, but it just, it just sticks with me.
Oh, yeah. Whenever I see cats now, he always crosses my mind because so many times we heard about how much he cared about cats.
Yes. Yeah, I try to put in cats all the time for Sebastian too. I do. That's why I found that funny meme today. But then I didn't realize that Jaden's, was gonna have a huge update in his case like this, and so I changed the thumbnail. But yeah, I did. I saw the lady with the cat, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. Little Miss Sharon brings up a really good point, Mom, and she says, I'm not sure, but are balloons bad for the wildlife? I think they kind of are, right? What? Because it would just be like. I don't know what happens to them when they pop.
I'm not sure. I could look into it.
I have no idea. I haven't thought about that in a while, actually, um, with the balloon, because I know people do balloon releases all the time. I
There's
don't know if
also
they have special.
butterflies, birds.
Oh yeah, butterflies. Yeah, like do something like that, like a release, like have Seth do it, and everybody just be there.
Even birds. I've seen people release different types of birds.
Yeah, how does that work? Like, how do they catch them?
I have no idea. I don't know if they raise them and then depending on where you are, letting the birds go.
Okay,
Sorry, my
yeah.
son's friend is singing downstairs and the baby monitor's on. I apologize.
Oh, I couldn't even hear him. That's fine. Maybe he's singing a
Yeah,
song for us to dance for Sebastian.
right? It's the old-fashioned battery operated ones. So they're actually, believe it or not, I think they work better than the video ones that I have.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I was gonna say some of those really pick up. I remember them picking up like the cordless phone calls, of your neighbors. Like, who was that talking on the baby monitor? Oh, it's the neighbor.
Yes, I remember that too.
That was so funny. Yeah, and Kai Kai says also we should ask a few companies to donate as well. I think that's a great idea. And, it would just be um, a matter of asking. Like I said, I was so surprised when I would ask for things like even we had one of the farmers come in and read to the kids, the one time. Because I was like, it'd be a lot cooler if we had like a farmer come in than me reading, and so I was like, I went and asked at one of the local farms, and he's like, yeah, absolutely. And he did. He dressed up in his overalls and came in and read to the kids. They really enjoyed it, and they all got a book. Like that was the whole program. They got books. um
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I'm sure we could find places, especially if there's more than one of us. We could always enlist Grok to help us with a little script if we need it.
oh, that's such a good idea. I always forget about Grok. Oh my gosh, I'm horrible about Grok, but it's such a good resource that I forget about.
Yeah, I use it a lot. I use it too much.
That's funny though, because I'm over here doing old school Google and you're grokking it up, and I'm like, and I'm behind over here. No wonder. Good to see you, Diane. Diane Highland says the story from the mom is just Felicia is just like KP and Sebastian. I agree, Diane. Even the 9 o'clock bedtime that really got me. That really got me.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's awful. It really is. And did you see what Town Chat said? Oh, that's kind of new, so I don't know of how far
Oh,
back.
let me look. No, I put up a Cinderella dance-a-thon. Dance-a-thon. I'll email you some ideas too. Thank you, Town Chat Cafe. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, Lori. I'm sorry about that. Gosh, people are hacking. People are crazy as hell. Yet another CPS screw up. Oh, we lost Mammon. Yeah, Lori, that would be good. Yeah, we'll definitely figure it out. I appreciate you guys. Um, I think we could all pull together. I think if we got like multiple channels involved, we'll be able to, really get something going. You know, I think it'll be a lot easier with the more people we have. Thank you, Town Chat. They're better. They're better alternatives to balloon releases. I'm so glad that little Miss Sharon said that too, because oh goodness, it's been a while. Oh, white pea stubs. Okay, yeah. I didn't know people would like go and collect pigeons or something, and then because I know pigeons can be like very docile and stuff. Yeah, butterflies would be beautiful, little Miss Sharon. I agree. I agree. How about the garbage bag of boys' clothes, underpants, and notebook paper? Yeah, like the note. Yes, Jay's mom, or the kid wrote, "Weird as fuck." I know, Diane. Yeah, because I was watching that over at Justin's, and I don't know what's up with that. We were thinking that maybe it was like some of the donations from the school that she had recently received at the open house, but I don't know why they would put them across the road like they were. Um, that was so strange. And then why didn't law enforcement pick that up for, evidence? Oh, bubbles is a good idea, Town Chat. That's a fantastic idea. Thank you so much. Planting trees or flowers, bricks or stepping stones with names of sponsors on them, and have a campaign called Walking the Path for Sebastian so both people and businesses can join in. Oh, that's a great idea, Town Chat. I'm going to try to screenshot it. I hope I don't knock us off of here. Nope, I got it. That's a great idea. Yeah. Wow. Very good. Very, very good. I was thinking something like that with t-shirts because I know they did that last time, but then people were getting all, hateful about it. And so I was like, you know, yeah, I think so too, Brenda. Mr. and Mrs. E would know the businesses to ask. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, gosh, if we all put our heads together, there's no stopping us. I believe that. My good friend owns an excellent restaurant in Hendersonville. I know she would donate. Oh, cool. See, that's perfect. We really do need help from local people because, I mean, you know, um, just to put on a big event like that, it would take, and I think it would make people feel united, and I think that's what we really need too. And I understand not everybody's going to unite, but we could try. We can do things, and yeah, that would be really neat. Town Chat says together, and maybe a local park will let the stepping stones be laid down there, and even a church. Or even a church. Yeah, and that's the thing too. See, and I wouldn't know the first thing about, any of the parks or churches or anything. So yeah, we need local people. Town Chat. That is such a good idea though. My goodness. That is a great idea. Sebastian would love the bubbles, little Miss Sharon. I agree. I agree. I think bubbles is such a great idea too because it's just, fun and like you said, friendly to the environment too. I know, Town Chat. Mama will be back, I think. Lori says she's been in my phone for 5 years. Pain in my ass. Oh no. Oh my gosh. I just don't understand that. Like I'm like, I thought something happened to my phone the other day because it hangs up on mom and it says no service. It goes black. And then I'm like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now? Because I was right about to go live. And so that's the night I said, well, I think it was last night, technical difficulties. Because I was like, hopefully I can go live. But now I'm nervous. Like I always make sure that I'm, good to go before because I don't want to have to redo the stream. I love the path idea too, Lori. I think that's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. And there's a lot of big, nice parks around there. And I bet you they wouldn't mind that at all. I mean, because it wouldn't hurt anything. It wouldn't. Peggy says, I've released the white doves for my 2 children in heaven. I get them here in here in Nashville, and they are beautiful. Okay, so you can get them like somewhere. That is really cool. And I think that's so beautiful too to like put the birds out and that's a really, really pretty idea. Brenda, you stinker. She says, how about a law enforcement appreciation luncheon? I totally would do it if they found Sebastian. I'd go over there and grovel, and I'd tell them they could put me in a dunk tank or something. I would if they found Sebastian tomorrow. I would let them do it, and I'd say you guys could, fill it up with mud or something or whatever. Whatever you guys want. Your choice. Your choice. But find this kid, please, because we need him back. We need him back. The park or the playground that Sebastian loved is Mary's Magical Playground. I did hear about Mary's Magical Playground. I wonder if they would have a spot for that. Like if it, because I mean, even if it was small little stones, it could be worked out, I think. Or not small ones where you couldn't really see them, but usually the little round ones. What is it? They're made of like kind of like a plaster material. Oh, that's cool. Would it come out? They'll come out green if you put the green food dye in there, Town Chat. Town Chat says, we can put the green food dye in the bubbles for Sebastian's favorite color and could probably find heart-shaped wands maybe. Oh, that is such a cool idea. I didn't even think of that. That sounds like fun. I want to see all kinds of different colors of bubbles. That's neat. But green is perfect. Yeah, Lori, I love it too. That is so great. Town Chat, you are so creative. I'll tell you what, girlfriend. Wow. Ah. Yeah, and and I think everybody would enjoy doing that. And that's something positive that we could all do together. That'll make, everybody come together. Ah, Detroit says they've banned balloons in many places because of the animals and they aren't biodegradable, allegedly. That's what I was thinking, like, do they use special kind of balloons? But I didn't think they did because usually, like, some of them are even like the heavy nylon, or is it nylon ones that they have? What do they call it? The helium balloons that I've seen them, put out, but they're like the really, heavy duty ones. Yeah, because I would think they would get stuck in the trees and stuff. Green lolly snakes. Yeah, I think so. You guys have the most awesome ideas. That's why I knew. I was like, I gotta ask chat later, because I was thinking about it after Betty's live, when I went live. But then all of this happened with poor Jaden. We need to invite the sheriff along and say, hey, we just need you to find Sebastian. That's all. No hate. We just need you to find Sebastian. Brenda says, love the path idea, and it should have green solar lights to light up at night. I agree, Brenda. And these are just the littlest things, to make it special. Gosh, even when they did, I remember when they did the light the path green. That was really pretty. I was like so taken by that, and all of the people that came out. That was really beautiful. All of the vigils have been beautiful, I think. Maybe minus the one where there was a lot of trouble caused, but I don't want to focus on that. It was so beautiful, Lori, and everybody came together, and nobody was bickering. I mean, I didn't hear anybody bickering. It was, it was live streamed, so I don't think anybody was, too bad. Don't chat. Girl, I could say the same thing. I wish that, like, my thumbs, like, if I worked out myself as much as I work out these thumbs making videos and searching the internet and texting, oh my goodness, I would be in, like, I'd be a bodybuilder by now. Yes, I still have my green out too. I do, Brenda. That's so great. Well, because people might ask you, like, why do you have green out or something like that. These lanterns, that would be really pretty, little Miss Sharon. Yeah, but if they ask you that, or anybody, if people say, well, what do you do? Well, I do a YouTube show with, and I show them Sebastian's flyer, or sometimes I'll have a picture of him handy, but, that was kind of back a little bit further back. I mean, I still have tons of pictures of Sebastian, but not, at the forefront. I think the most recent one is I have the most recent $500,000 reward flyer, and that's the one I have, like, up front. But I think those pictures are the most recent. No, that's so good though, Town Chat. I'm so glad. Oh, and Brenda Calvert, yeah, maybe we can do a glow in the dark paint too on the rocks or stepping stones, or glow in the, yeah, or the glow in the stones on Amazon. Oh yeah, see, that is really cool. Yeah, and I mean, I think that would be such a good idea, and I mean, it would just be something to also remind everybody, you know, Sebastian's still out there, he's still missing. Um, we're gonna have to get working on it for sure. Um, like I said, I'm gonna reach out to a couple of people, an email, um, and we'll kind of get a date going. But I think that is, you know, the best thing that we can do right now is to keep on, being respectfully loud and just saying, hey, we're still here, and we just want justice. We just want to find out what's going on. I just really have a feeling someone knows something. I wish that I didn't feel that way, and I wish I had a more easy feeling like, oh yeah, maybe, someday Sebastian would be found, or like they're going to bring him back when he's 18. I wish I had more of an easy feeling. Like I just feel like somebody, especially seeing this case, and I don't know, I wasn't necessarily going to cover Jayden Spicer's case, and I'm glad I did. He's very well deserving of having us all talk about him and never forgetting him, and just really loving up on him, even though he's not here anymore. But making sure that people are held accountable is the best way that we can, help him. Even though it stinks that he wasn't able to be helped, while he was here. But I think that looking at this case, we can really see that when there's something really wrong going on, and mom is disinterested in the child, that's a major red flag. Even if it's something that's short-lived, I don't know that it is something that could be short-lived, because I mean, I don't know, I can't think of any time in my life that I didn't want my daughter around. But I only had one daughter, and I understand this mom has, I think 6 kids total. Um, you know, which makes it harder. But still, Lori says, oh, hell no. Yeah. I mean, I agree. It's like, I'm still struggling here, like, to even make sense of it. Yeah, I think so too. Detroit says, yes, glow in the dark paint for the stone sounds awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And that paint is always like a green color, because I have some of it. Well, I have some acrylic paint. Oh, Brenda says, rumor is there was a little more movement in the case. Oh, I have to look and see. I was planning just to have like a kind of a goofy time live earlier today. And then we had this news come in, which, again, I'm glad that he was found. Don't you? That's good, though. We need people that have great ideas, and we could all get together. Like I said, the first thing I thought of was like, oh man, what did I do in PTA, and how did we raise funds, and what did we, like, what were the things that we used to do? Because I remember doing all that kind of stuff. And then too, for field day, so the kids could have frozen custard and whatnot. And like I said, Andy's frozen custard was just so gracious in doing that for us too. I mean, it was like no questions asked. You just went over there. You're like, hey, I'm with PTA over at, such and such school. And, and they'd be like, well, how many do you need? You'd be like, oh, about 150. And then they would just give you those. And I mean, it was really, really kind. And the kids had a blast, Oh, I know. No, I cannot. I cannot even. Oh, it would just be like, I don't even know if I could get it out of my mouth. They would probably, I mean, I know she had written down things. Can you imagine having to go and tell them that you killed your kid? Oh my gosh. I mean, even an accident, like say like, I just don't know. No. No. And if I actually had custody, or I guess it'd be possession of the child, because I don't think they actually had custody. I think the grandma did. But I'm not even 100% sure there. But I don't know. I would feel guilty is all get out. I would just feel so bad. I would be like, I don't know how I'm going to forgive myself for this. And I made a really bad decision in bringing Jayden there. And, you know, not everyone's going to feel that way, but I'm just surprised. But then again, maybe they don't want to admit guilt because they don't want to get in trouble. But still. A video from a business was recently obtained according to another creator. That was all they could say. Okay. In Sebastian's case, yeah, Brenda? That's interesting. I wonder if it's from the, yeah, I hope it's true too. Is it maybe from, like, the arcade or the bowling alley? Have y'all seen the video I made for Sebastian? I put a request to post it in the UK, Canada, and Puerto Rico groups. No, I need to go check it out, Town Chat. Drop your link, hon. Please, pretty please. Yeah, I need to go over and check it out. I've been all over the place today, and then, like I said, I had some blooper reels for you guys because I wanted to make you guys laugh, even though I didn't realize how much we were going to need it. Oh, At Night posted. Oh, okay. I gotta go check it out. Oh God, I hope he was seen on the video. I really wish there would be movement in Sebastian's case as well, Holly S. I just want them to be hauled in for questioning again. Like, proper questioning. That's all I'm asking for. Haul Katie in. You know, make her wait till like 9 o'clock to eat. No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible. I'm just teasing. Don't come for me. Make her wait a long time. Leverage that. Oh, that's terrible. No, I mean, I'm not trying to presume even to tell them how to do their job. You know, I really am not. But I don't know. I just kind of get to the point where I'm like, you know, something's got to give in these cases. And I get that they had a little bit more on this mom than they do Katie. But not really much. If CPS was involved that many times, and then there were therapist notes, I just don't see how they're just, you know, leaving this how it is. Okay, the creator didn't know for sure which business. Thanks, Brenda. Oh boy. Well, I'm hoping it's something good. You know, some kind of something. Thanks, Town Chat, for dropping the link. Yeah, no, I didn't see it yet. But the police just got the video in June or July this year. Wow. Why would people sit on that, I wonder? That's one thing that I don't understand either, is how people would sit on that. Yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting. That takes you right to it, and you can turn the music down. Oh, I like music. I know some people don't like it if I put music in the background of the videos and stuff, but I can't help it. Yeah, I can't help it. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to play this little tribute that I did for Jayden. It's short. I didn't have a lot of pictures. I'm probably going to do another one too. And I posted it on the page or on my channel too. And, you know, I'm a little snarky with the ants, but, you know, I mean, I just can't help myself sometimes. But I'll play this, and this is for Jayden, and I just pray for justice. Okay, guys, so that was a little tribute. I wish I would have had more pictures. Oh, thank you, Town Chat. Yeah, I just wish I would have had better pictures. Thanks, Holly S. Yeah, it's a shame. Or I could have put something in there like Jaden really liked to do this, or he played this sport, you know. Um, I just don't know that much about him. I'm guessing he liked blue because he likes Sonic the Hedgehog, but then looks like he had a Spider-Man t-shirt on at one point, so he likes Spider-Man. Um, Thank you, Lori. Thank you so much. Yeah, I just wish it was like, I don't know. I just feel so bad for him. I wish that he had better, you know. I just do. I just do. Um, you know, and I'm going to be working on updates too. Thank you, Holly S. Um, for tomorrow, because I want to do another day show, even though I might, thank you, Lori. I think I might, by the end of the week, I might be pooped, but that's okay. I'm trying to, I really want to get, you know, a couple of different shows out and then also do some current events. One thing I mentioned earlier, I wanted to share with you guys too before I hop off here. So, because poor mom, and she texted me that she can't get back on YouTube because she got kicked off, and I know how that is because that happened to me yesterday. Um, so Adam Montgomery is asking for his murder conviction to be overturned. And I'm going to pull that video in. I saved it. I just didn't get a chance to transfer it over. They gave him the option, though, after he was convicted, or perhaps it was right before, that if he told prosecutors where Harmony's body was, because she's still never been found, that, you know, he would get a lighter sentence. So they were trying to cut a deal with him, but he doesn't want to tell, you know. Thank you, little Miss Sharon. You know, and like, he doesn't want to tell where she is, and he still isn't, that still isn't even something that he wants to tell. He just wants to be, he wants his sentence overturned, or excuse me, his conviction overturned. So pretty wild stuff. And I don't know, quite how he's doing it now. Again, we're dealing with the Commonwealth, which is a little bit different, I think. But I want to see kind of how that appeals process would work, and then just kind of give you guys an update on that too, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, just it's just really unfortunate. Sometimes it's like, just when you think that people, you know, aren't as evil as you thought they were, and then you get Adam Montgomery like, hey, I want to get out of prison for what I did, but I'm still not going to tell where Harmony is. Like, he has no thought, you know, as to what happened to this little girl, and it's his little girl, you know. So, and then I did hear that Harmony's mother is suing Adam, and I think that was a newer, more recent development. So I'll be checking on that too, because I would like to do kind of like a coffee and true crime afternoon talking about Harmony Montgomery. You know, she is just adorable, just like the sweetest little girl. And it just breaks my heart that she's out there somewhere and that he's so worried about his own butt. Her dad's a real piece of work. I also want to go into a little bit of the psychology that I've kind of studied in the case when I went back and looked at some of the posts from Crystal Sorey. I honestly agree. I don't remember which lady in the trial it was, but I'll try to get a clip of it. But she said that she really believes that Adam didn't like Harmony because she looked like her mom. And I believe that. I do. And I think we see that very often in these cases where, you know, that hatred for the spouse or the ex-spouse or whatever creates like a hatred for the children. I think we saw that a lot. There was a lot of those elements in, you know, Chris Watts and Shanann Watts' case. You know, I think he was just at the brink with Shanann, and, you know, the girls were in the crosshairs of that. It's no excuse. I just find it interesting to talk about some of the psychology and the dynamics behind it. But wait till you read some of these, and I'm sure they've been out before, but a lot of them are very toxic traits that, at first when we're dating somebody, we might think, oh, that's so sweet, they're so into me and whatnot, but it's really toxic. And so I wanted to go over some of those things with you guys and just discuss it, because it's interesting to me. And then I also want to just remind people, like, hey, Harmony's still out there somewhere. Her dad knows where she is. We know he does. I mean, obviously he's been convicted. I can really safely say that one. But, and then of course, email me, guys, ladyfreedomsrawNarratives@gmail.com. I'm going to be working too on, not only getting a panel for a timeline, but then also, like, when I heard this at Bullhorn Betty's today, I was like, oh yeah, we should help Betty out with this event. She says it's going to take planning and time and money, all those good things, but that's okay. I think we could all work together and achieve it. Yeah, no, well, and that's Lori says that I'm new to it. I just came in 3 days after Sebastian went missing, and I don't really know the case is very good, but I'll be here to listen. Yeah, Harmony's case is really, really sad because it's another CPS fail. They really could have had her someplace else, and the parents failed, obviously. But if it wasn't for her mom, I just don't know how long it would have taken for her to even, realize that she was missing at that point. Because, Adam was doing things like not allowing for, Crystal to get a hold of her after a certain point, and that was Easter. And then shortly after Easter, that same year, he took her life. But she's just as cute as she can be. And I mean, I don't know. I just think that there's a strong dynamic there, and that could have been a reason. But yeah, he was just convicted right before Sebastian went missing. He was convicted, or right in between that time, like very shortly before that. And now he's trying to get it overturned. And I'm like, what in the world? But he won't tell where she's at. And he's the only one allegedly that knows. Oh, see, I hate that, Brenda. Brenda says, my daughter was always treated way differently than my son by my ex, and my daughter looks just like me. Not abuse or anything like that, just not as engaged with her. So I believe that happens. Yeah, no, Brenda, I think that is so true. Yeah. I do. I know that that dynamic exists. And then when it was brought up in the trial, I was really taken back by it, because I was like, wow, somebody really kind of got the, I think it was something that he had said to this friend of his. It was Adam's friend that was testifying, up to this. And I can't even say she was testifying against him. I just think she was testifying for Harmony, So I think she was being truthful, and that was her understanding. And if you look at, Harmony and her mom, I mean, they are just a spitting image of each other. So it really does make me wonder. But yeah, I'd like to get in and talk about, Harmony's case, and then, just any cases that we can during the day to just, chit chat about true crime, and even have some fun days too, mixed in with that. So, but we just never know what's going to happen from day to day. And then also, this was very unexpected. I'm glad that there was a confession. I'm very glad that Jayden was found. I just wish that he would have been found, safe and sound, and he could have had the life he deserved to live. But thank you all so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And then just keep looking out for, random times when I'll be on, because I'll just, I'll always do the night shows too. But I really want to pull in people who aren't, night owls like us, so because we're not all nocturnal here. So, but all right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lori. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.